want to say thank you for your contribution, and this is to you. Thank you so much. All right, here we go.
Overnight, the wall went up, and overnight, family members were cut off from each other. A city and a country divided. There was a scramble to get out, people jumping from buildings even as their windows were being bricked up. Over the years, there were numerous escape attempts, via the checkpoints, through tunnels, even in hot air balloons. 3 decades later, communism began to crumble across the Soviet Union. The cracks appeared, and eventually, the wall came tumbling down.
So those last pictures, as you know, were from Berlin in the fall of 1989. Ask yourself, what did you just see? Did you witness the triumph of the irrepressible human spirit over forces of totalitarian control? Or did you find yourself annoyed by the senseless vandalism of government infrastructure? Who did you sympathize with as you watched that video? Was it the protesters breaking down that hated wall? Or did you find yourself feeling for the prison guards in the background who are going to have a lot more trouble keeping track of people once this sensible barrier is removed? Be honest, write down your answers. Now,
I don't have an answer. I don't know enough about it. That's why I'm looking at it right now so I can figure out what the HE double hockey sticks is going on. Because when I look at this sugar honey iced tea, I have the slightest clue of what's going on. All I see is that people are they look to be celebrating. They look to be triumphant over whatever the government has built. I just don't know what the fight is about and who's right and who's wrong. Now, this is where you all come in. Van, this is what's happening. And then, and there you have it. And then guess what? I got an opinion after that.
Now we're on to the second image. This one is from Beijing, China, same year, a few months earlier. So what do you see here? There's a man standing alone in front of a tank.
Whoa.
Is that man a hero, risking his life for human rights? Or is he a hooligan impeding the progress of a government vehicle? Who do you sympathize with, the man or the tank?
I say that he's a hero. No? He's a hooligan? Okay. I don't use the word hooligan. I think I'm gonna start calling people hooligans. Like, you a hooligan if you don't get on my daggone face with that BS you talking about. I'm gonna slap you upside your daggone head. What the 5 fingers say to the face?
These may seem like easy questions, but that's only because those images are more than 30 years old. Everyone today supports the fall of the Berlin Wall and the freedom fighters in Tiananmen Square. But back in 1989, it was a mixed bag. Actually, a lot of highly respected people thought the Berlin Wall should stay up. That would include Margaret Thatcher and the president of France and a lot of others. Now, that may sound shocking to you, but really, it's not so different from what we're witnessing now.
That name Margaret Thatcher keep coming up. That name Margaret Thatcher. I think who quoted her before? Was it Hillary? Was it President Obama? Who quoted her before? Margaret Thatcher. And what did she stand for?
Now, today, we're witnessing a lot of well-respected people who are arguing with a straight face that Twitter, one of our main avenues for solving political differences, should remain censored. They're telling you, again with a straight face, that you can't have a democracy where everyone is allowed to participate in the conversation. No. In order to represent the public must be forced to shut up. That's what they're saying. So whose side are you on? The man or the tank? Keep in mind that if you chose the tank, you are by definition a Stalinist. We're not judging, but we thought you should know that. The good news is you've got a lot of company. Here's MSNBC.
There's studies that have been shown that this power can be used to tilt elections if someone were to want to use it that way. It's not enough to just rig law and policy. You want to rig the discourse. You want to make sure you control the terms.
If you own all of Twitter or Facebook or what have you, you don't have to explain yourself. You don't even have to be transparent. You could secretly ban one party's candidate or all of its candidates, all of its nominees, or you could just secretly turn down the reach of their stuff and turn up the reach of something else, and the rest of us might not even find out about it till after the election.
Oh, see, if a billionaire controlled Twitter, you could rig the discourse. That's a fair point.
Wow, I didn't think of that. I didn't think of it that way. I mean, it may seem like a conspiracy theory to you all, but is it possible that he can do that? And does he have why would he want to do that? That's my question. Why would he want to do that? Does he work for one side or the other? Because I thought that Elon Musk was um a liberal before, and he's more so center leaning right now. That's what I'm. But why would he try to rig the game? It's everything about his life says that we all have the possibility to do whatever our capacity and our dreams can get us to do. So I don't see him holding anybody back, but what do I know? Does he have a history of trying to do that? Does he have a history of being unfair to either politicians, his employees, his competition when it comes to Tesla versus other companies? I mean, what am I missing here? Is he an evil person who just have those qualities of someone who will rig the entire discourse of people, politicians, and everyone on Twitter? If y'all can let me know that. I'm not asking these questions lightly. I really want to know because you guys have far more information about these people than I do. All right.
If a billionaire controlled Twitter, you could rig the discourse. That's a fair point. See, the thing about owning a social media company is you could, quote, secretly ban one party's candidate. Or even scarier than that, you could, quote, secretly turn down the reach of their stuff or turn up the reach of something else, and the rest of us might not find out about it until after the election. Yeah, that's a terrifying prospect. Democracy could not withstand that. Let's hope it never happens. What is it about cable television that completely eliminates people's self-awareness? Maybe NIH should do a study on that. It seems like a legitimate health crisis. But we're being slightly unfair in that analysis. We do not mean, certainly, to suggest that it's only Democrats who favor censorship for political ends. Republican leaders support it too. In a phone call reported today by the New York Times, for example, Congressman Kevin McCarthy of California told his close friend Liz Cheney that he hoped the social media companies would censor more conservative Republicans in Congress. Donald Trump, the sitting president, had already been silenced by those companies, but McCarthy wanted the tech oligarchs to do more, to force disobedient lawmakers off the internet. Quote, can't they take their Twitter accounts away too? Those are the tape-recorded words of Congressman Kevin McCarthy, a man who in private turns out sounds like an MSNBC contributor. And yet, unless conservatives get their act together right away, Kevin McCarthy or one of his highly liberal allies like Elise Stefanik is very likely to be Speaker of the House in January. That would mean we will have a Republican Congress led by a puppet of the Democratic Party. So you wouldn't know any of this unless it was leaked. And you can start to see why the people in charge oppose transparency and fervently support censorship on both sides. Why? Because the more you know about them, the less satisfied you're likely to become with their leadership. Here's the eunuch general of CNN's Praetorian Guard warning that the peasants cannot have too much liberty.
If you get invited to something where there are no rules, where there is total freedom for everybody, do you actually want to go to that party?
Yes. Next. No other options. Next. Yes. That sounds like a good party.
Or are you going to decide to stay home?
Oh, you're going to stay home.
I know he's going to stay home.
Actually,
and I hope your dad going to do.
If you let people choose, you never know what they're going to do. For example, CNN just spent more than $250 million on a streaming service that in the end attracted 10,000 viewers. Right, because people had a choice, and that's not what they chose. So if you're part of a company that made a decision like that, you'd be very much in favor of squelching the competition with censorship. Because if you didn't have a monopoly, you would wither and die. People would start asking questions like, why is equity so important again? Why do we care what TV personalities look like? Shouldn't we care about what they do, what they believe, about their characters? Over on The View, host Sunny Hostin is desperately hoping you will never be allowed to ask that question.
fact, on Twitter, it is predominantly straight white men. So when Elon Musk says, wow, this is about free speech, it seems to me that it's about free speech of straight white men.
Elon Musk lives in a world in which the only kind of free speech is white men feeling free to say whatever the hell they want.
Okay. Maybe this is above my pay grade because I want to say that I'm black and I'm on Twitter and I feel like I have the freedom to speak and say whatever I want to say. And as a matter of fact, with someone someone holding reins that that won't quiet whatever I want to say off of me simply having an opinion, that actually feels it feels liberating. I like it. So I really want to understand the fear that you hold. Like I want to understand the anger behind every single thing that you're saying right now. I don't want to feel the anger. I don't want to like have that anger. I don't want to be angry. Like life is there's far too many important things going on right now that than to have me, feeling out of it. I got a family to take care of, man, and they need me at my best. They need me positive. They need me energized. They need me making right decisions. All these things, man. So at the end of the day, I don't want to be upset or angry or anything, but it seems um it seems like all of what I'm hearing is complaining. Is it because people just aren't getting their way? Is it because they have far more information than I have and I just can't see beyond my own ignorance at this moment? And they are trying to let me know that Elon Musk is a bad guy. He's trying to do some things that you don't know because you're new to this. I've been doing this for a while. You're new to this. You're going to see for yourself. Are they saying that? Are they trying to get me to a position where I understand so that I can communicate better? Or are they trying to get me to a point where I understand so I can be more pissed and get on their side of complaining and, really wanting to tear down the administration, to tear down the wall? Y'all let me know what y'all thought about that because I really do want to know that part. I really don't see all the negativity and the complaining being helpful, in my opinion.
Oh. Now, we could rebut those points, and these people are obviously racist, and nobody says anything about it for some reason. But that's not really the big point. The big point, and we're going to restate it because it's the whole point, is this. Anyone who is angered by the prospect of American citizens expressing their opinions is a Stalinist and should be feared. We no longer need to guess who those people are. They have conveniently self-identified. It's a clarifying moment, but it's also a little scary because at this point there is no going back. Once the kidnapper shows you his face, he can't release you. God knows what happens next. The Biden administration has jumped with all four paws into this, signaling it's going to use the weight of the federal government to crush Elon Musk because he wants you to speak freely.
What?
The day that Musk announced his intention to buy Twitter, the feds opened a probe into Tesla. That would be his electric car company and the source of the wealth that made it possible for him to buy Twitter.
Nah. That's dirty. That didn't happen.
And at the same time, the Biden administration's allies in the media are uniting to defame Elon Musk and destroy him as a man, because that's what they do. He's a racist. They're about to do that to us again. The New York Times editorial board just published a stirring defense of censorship in a newspaper. On Twitter, the Times complained Musk will be free to, quote, body shame people. He can also, quote, poo-poo sound health regulations and shout down critics. And that can't be allowed. Thou shalt not body shame Tony Fauci. Tony Fauci is a very tall man. CNBC was even less subtle, by the way, in its character assassinations. That channel granted anonymity to a source identified as, quote, close to some of the Democratic Party's biggest Silicon Valley mega donors. What did this source come over to CNBC to say? Quote, Musk is a great engineer and businessman, but I would not trust him with my daughter. Oh, so he's a rapist.
What the hell? Musk is a great engineer and businessman, but I wouldn't trust him with my daughter. I wouldn't trust any man with my daughter if I don't know who he is. If I don't have a relationship with him, if I haven't had a conversation with him, if she don't trust that man. What? That's just a dumb statement right there. Why should you trust anybody with your daughter? Oh man, that guy right there that I just now met at the bus stop, he's a good guy. He really is. He's homeless, but he's a good guy. I gave him $3. I trust him with my daughter. You see how dumb that is? It's very dumb. It's like adults say the silliest sugar honey iced tea, man, to make a point. It's ridiculous.
Engineer and businessman.
It's ridiculous,
but
man.
I would not trust him with my daughter. Got it. Okay. No evidence whatsoever.
Wow.
But you should be afraid for your daughters because Elon Musk wants free speech. And NBC Nightly News, in between prostate health segments.
And free speech means poontang on the in Wikipedia. So when you look up free speech, one of the new definitions that was just now added by people who have these ridiculous fears, poontang is in there. And you already know the guy with all of the money gets all the poontang. So if you get a daughter who is above 21, 9 times out of 10, Elon Musk is going to get that poontang.
Strongly agrees with that. Watch them tell you that free speech endangers women way more than abortion clinics, TikTok, and Teen Vogue. Watch.
And some critics are concerned that Musk's pursuit of free speech will collide with growing safety problems on Twitter, especially for women and minorities.
Do you trust Elon Musk to make Twitter better for women?
No, I don't trust Elon Musk to make Twitter better for women at all.
Oh, it's bad for women! It's pretty funny. Oh, the rich entitled ladies won't have a voice. Okay. But of course, well, everyone will have a voice, and that's what they're mad about. What they don't want is the coming of diversity, the one thing they say they love. There's no diversity at Twitter. As it stands, 99% of recent political donations from Twitter employees have gone to Democrats. 99%, 98.7% to be precise. Now, how much is that? Well, for perspective, Kim Jong-un got a much smaller level of support from workers at the central Pyongyang steel plant recently. So 99% of anything is a bad sign. It's a terrifying level of conformity. It suggests brain death. But brain death is what they're demanding. And that tells you everything. As Elon Musk himself wrote today, quote, "The extreme antibody reaction from those who fear free speech says it all." And it certainly does. Subscribe.
All right. So, obviously I asked a bunch of questions during this this video. I've made some statements during this video. My questions might have been ridiculous, and my statements might have been ridiculous. But if they weren't, if they were, clear enough for you to actually address it with an answer, then I would greatly appreciate if you do that in the comments below. And if you have yet to hit that subscribe button or the new super thanks button, shout out to everyone who has been doing that. I appreciate it. Please make sure you do so on your way out the door. Once again, guys, I am Van, and now we are all the LFR family, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video, hopefully inside of the Patreon as well. You all have been amazing per usual. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. All right. And share this with someone if you haven't already, or just keep it to yourself. Matter of fact, just keep it to yourself. I don't care if you share it. Just keep on watching the videos. When you see that notification come up, if you haven't hit the notification bell, do that. When you see that notification come up, just watch the video, and that helps a lot. And you don't have to spend a dime with the channel in order to be family. Shout out to all of my 350,000 subscribers. You all are, I don't know, man. Y'all are making an impact. Keep doing what you do. Love y'all.